This year's Invictus Games kicked off in Vancouver this weekend. It featured artists like Katy Perry, Kahan, Nelly Furtado, and Coldplay's Chris Martin. The games will see up to 550 athletes from 23 nations that will take part in 11 adaptive sports in Whistler and here in Vancouver. Many of the events are actually being held in the same places that hosted the 2010 Olympics. Prince Harry founded the Games in 2014 for wounded and injured and sick service personnel and veterans. He and his wife Megan were also in attendance at the opening ceremony Saturday afternoon, and when cameras panned to them throughout the 2-hour event, viewers could see them enjoying the music and mouthing the words to some of the songs, including by Coldplay's Chris Martin, who performed the Invictus Games anthem live for the first time at the event. He wrote the song in 2014 for the Games in London. But yeah, this was the first time that he actually performed it live. So that was pretty exciting. Throughout the event, there were speeches from dignitaries, including BC Premier David Eby, who took some time to mention the tensions between Canada and the United States, but highlighted the history of the military action and friendship between the neighboring countries. It actually resulted in this really heartfelt moment between the American and Canadian teams who formed hearts with their hands and pointed those toward each other. The stadium also erupted. It was a pretty interesting moment to witness. The prince actually himself closed out the ceremonies with the last speech before Katy Perry, who was the final headliner, took the stage. He said the games are to highlight the veterans from around the world who he said embodied courage, resilience, leadership, and set an example for the rest of the world. During his speech, video panned to veterans from all countries, several who were very moved by the speech. A few had tears in their eyes, and that was kind of a nice moment that sort of brought the event for full circle before Katy Perry took the stage. Organizers at BC Place had said before the opening ceremonies that about 800 performers were taking the stage and would perform to a crowd of about 40,000 people. Some of the attendees had told me before the ceremony that they were initially drawn to buying the tickets because it was such a star-studded event and their favorite musical artists were playing, and they hadn't been able to see them live before, and that was sort of why they wanted to go. But after the event, while some people were still very excited and thought the performances were great, a lot of people were telling me how moved they were by the stories of the athletes. Now, the games continue for 8 days before closing next Sunday with the closing ceremonies at Rogers Arena.